If you died tonight, would the shadows in your room recognize you as a captive or as a soldier? Let's look at a critical error that 90% of people make when they try to clean up their lives. They enter the arena of spiritual warfare with a deep, hidden belief about who they are. They look at themselves and they see a dirty, broken failure. They see a minimalist stickman, frail, black and white, smudged with the charcoal of their past mistakes, and wrapped in heavy iron chains. Then, while looking at this pathetic self-image, they say, "Starting today, I am going to be strong. I am going to use all my willpower to not cross that line." Do you see the structural tragedy here? They are trying to build a royal fortress while standing in their own grave clothes. They are begging the storm to stop, but they are still identifying as a drowning victim. The cold truth of human psychology is that your subconscious mind will never allow you to behave in a way that contradicts your deepest identity. If you believe you are fundamentally a thief who is just trying hard not to steal, the second your willpower dips, you will steal. If you believe you are an addict who is just trying to stay clean, you are merely a ticking time bomb waiting for a dark night to explode. True victory at the altar does not begin by changing what you do. It begins by changing who you are. In psychology, there is a massive difference between behavior modification and an identity shift. Behavior modification says, "I am trying to stop looking at that screen." It focuses entirely on the external wrestling match. It keeps your focus locked onto the vice, keeping the old neural pathways hyperactive. An identity shift, however, cuts straight to the root of the soul. It says, "I am a guarded soldier of the king. That screen has no authority over my gaze." When you make this shift, your relationship with temptation changes instantly. You are no longer a beggar on your knees pleading with the shadow to leave you alone. You are an authorized guard standing at the perimeter of a holy palace. Look at the fragile stickman character. When the dark blue mist of temptation rolls into the room at night, the unarmored stickman panics. He covers his face, shivers in fear, and waits for the inevitable collapse. But when that same stickman understands his true identity, his posture changes. His thin wooden lines straighten up. He recognizes that his strength doesn't come from the thickness of his lines, but from the signature of the sovereign king who has written his name in the book of life. You must stop trying to fight your way into freedom. You must realize you are already fighting from a position of absolute purchased victory. To claim this new identity, you must first survive the trial at the shadow court. Every single day, the enemy brings the courtroom to your mind. The shadows gather in a dark circle around you. They point their clawed fingers at your fragile stickman frame and they replay the videotapes of your worst moments. They blast you with the agonizing frequencies of past condemnation. Look at what you did last week. Look at how hypocritical you are. You prayed at the altar this morning, but you are still the same dirty creature. And for years you have accepted the verdict. You have sat in the mud, crying, allowing the iron chains of guilt to tighten around your throat. You agreed with the enemy. You wore the label of defeated. But tonight, the courtroom is being overthrown. The altar is rewriting the script. The fragile stickman refuses to listen to the whispers of the shadow court. Instead, he turns his head upward, away from the darkness of his own record, and looks into the blinding, brilliant arena of the true judge. You do not argue with the prosecutor. You do not try to prove that you are good. You simply point to the advocate who has already cleared your debt at the cross. This brings us to the formal initiation of Chapter 2, the forging of the shield. The very first piece of the armor of God that must be placed on your mind is the helmet of salvation. In your mind's eye, see the majestic, colossal figure of Jesus Christ step directly into the center of your dark courtroom. He is clothed in pure, blinding white garments that illuminate the entire horizon. His eyes are burning like refined gold, filled with terrifying majesty and absolute, deep compassion. He looks down at the fragile, weeping white stickman trapped in the iron chains. With one quiet word of sovereign authority, Christ strikes the chains, and they shatter into harmless gray dust. Then Christ raises his giant, radiant hand. In his palm, he holds a beautiful, heavy, glowing golden helmet. It is forged from the unshakable certainty of your salvation. He leans down and gently places this helmet onto the head of the minimalist stickman. The contrast is breathtaking. The stickman is still made of simple, minimalist lines, representing his human fragility. But on his head sits a crown of blinding, celestial gold. The helmet protects his thoughts, filters his imagination, and shields his brain from the incoming darts of shame. The stickman is no longer a prisoner. He has just been commissioned as a soldier. Now that you wear the golden helmet, your rules of engagement have changed. When you walk out into the world tomorrow, or when you face the quiet house at 10 p.m., you will not carry yourself like a victim waiting to be attacked. You will touch the golden crown upon your mind. You will look at your environment through the clear visor of your true identity. When a dark thought arrives, or an old memory attempts to accuse you, you will not panic. You will simply point to the helmet. You will tell the shadow, "You are speaking to the wrong person. The addict you are looking for died at the altar. I am a guarded soldier, and this perimeter is closed." Let's seal this identity mutation across our entire global vanguard tonight. If you are ready to drop your old grave clothes, smash the shadow court, and receive your golden helmet, step forward into the comments right now. Leave your official marker of military registration. Type these 5 definitive words: "I am a guarded soldier." Let the comment section become a massive, shining legion of helmets cutting through the cultural darkness. Protect your mind, watch the perimeter, and never forget, you are still in the fight. But hear me closely. Putting on the golden helmet is only your first step of guard duty. In our very next battle, we are going to take this newly armored mind and march straight into the loudest, most chaotic arena of the modern world. We are going to execute the dopamine reset and learn how to starve the digital counterfeits that are quietly trying to hijack your new crown. The gates are locked, but the wilderness is waiting. Click the video on your screen right now. Let's step into the silence and clear the static together. I will see you in the next fight.